Prep 3 students, hello and welcome back. Let's continue our online sessions. Today we are going to complete what we have studied before in Black Beauty. Today we move to chapter 6, My Final Home. So please open your books, page 66 together. If you remember last chapter 5, we stopped at the point when Jerry, the taxi driver, and Black Beauty met Mrs. Fowler. Here at the page, before you read, Jerry did not work at weekends. What do you think would happen to Black Beauty if he had to work for 7 days a week? If he worked like the 7 days of a week, he would get tired or he would have a lot of problems. But luckily, he is not doing so. Let's read together what in the chapter. Jerry knew the woman, Mrs. Fowler, who was always very kind. When we arrived outside her house, she said to Jerry, "If ever you have any problems, tell me. I can always find work for a good driver, and I know you are one of the best." There were problems in Jerry's life. Winter came, and soon there was a holiday for New Year. However, there was no holiday for the taxi drivers. We had a lot of work to do, taking people from house to house. One evening, Jerry was asked to take home a rich man from a large house in the west of London. He was asked to wait outside the house until the man was ready. It was very cold and there was snow in the air. We waited for more than an hour before the man finally came outside. So they waited in the cold weather for more than 1 hour. He did not apologize and was angry when he had to give Jerry money for the time he waited outside in the street. This man changed our lives forever. As you see, like they were waiting, and here snow falling. Now let's move to some questions based on this part together. Here, answer the following questions. Who was Mrs. Fowler? She was a rich woman who was kind to Jerry. 2. How do you know that Fowler was kind and helpful? When she told him that she could find him work if he had a problem. Question 3. What was Fowler's opinion of Jerry? She said he was one of the best drivers. 4. When did the holiday come? When winter came. 5. Did the taxi drivers have a holiday on the New Year? No, there was no holiday for them. Question 6. How was the weather while Beauty was waiting for the rich man? It was very cold and there was snow. Why did the rich man have to apologize? Because he made Jerry wait for more than an hour, but he didn't apologize. Why was the rich man angry? Because he had to pay more money for the time Jerry waited. Where did the rich man live? In the west of London. How do you think waiting for the rich man changed Beauty's and Jerry's lives? Because Jerry would become ill and Beauty would be sold. Now let's move to page 67 together to complete that chapter and complete this part. When we finally arrived home that night, I was very cold and tired, but Jerry was worse. He coughed all the time because they were waiting in the bad weather, the cold weather, for more than 1 hour. The next day, Harry came to feed me. If you remember, Harry is the son or the boy. But I was not put in the carriage. The same happened for 2 more days. I knew Jerry was very ill. Jerry slowly recovered, but the doctor told him not to drive taxis anymore if he wanted to stay healthy. So Polly is his wife, if you remember, wrote to Mrs. Fowler and asked if she had any work for Jerry. A few days later, Mrs. Fowler wrote back she wanted Jerry to work for her and said that the family could move to a small cottage near her house. This was very good news for the family, but bad news for me, because Black Beauty loves Jerry because he was the best driver he has ever had. I knew that they would sell me and I was becoming old. Would I ever have such a happy home again? I was sold to another taxi driver called Skinner. I am sure that this was the same man who made Ginger so weak and sad. We worked 7 days a week and I never had a good rest or enough to eat. Poor Black Beauty. Oh, let's see some questions together about this part to understand more. Of course, we know that in the exam we'll have critical thinking questions, but we discuss these questions to understand more about the events and the characters in that story. Question 1. How was Beauty when they arrived home that night? He was cold and tired. How was Jerry that night? He was coughing all the time. Why wasn't Beauty put in the carriage? Because Jerry was ill. How long wasn't Beauty put in the carriage? For 3 days. What did the doctor advise Jerry? He advised him not to drive taxis anymore. Why did the doctor advise Jerry not to drive taxis to stay healthy? What did Polly do to help her ill husband? She wrote to Mrs. Fowler to ask for work for Jerry. Question number 7. What did Father write back? She said that she wanted Jerry to work for her. Question number 8. Where was Jerry and his family live? In a cottage near Mrs. Fowler's house. What was the bad news for Beauty? Jerry would work for Mrs. Fowler. Question number 10. What would happen to Beauty when Jerry worked for Fowler? He would be sold. Who was Skinner? He was the same man who made Ginger weak and sad. How was Beauty's life with Skinner? It was very bad as he worked for 7 days without price or enough food. Now let's move back to the book. As you here see in the picture, Black Beauty is suffering with this Skinner. Let's move to the next page, page 68. Yes, let's move to 68 please. One day we waited outside the station for a train to arrive. A family of 4 asked Skinner, the new taxi driver with whom Black Beauty is working, to take them home with all their luggage. The daughter peered at me and said, "I don't think this poor horse can carry us and all our bags. He looks very weak." "He will be fine," cried Skinner. "Don't worry about him." I tried to pull the carriage as fast as I could, but I was weak because I was given no breakfast. I wanted to go quickly, but when we started to climb a hill, I knew that I did not have enough energy. I thought I could not breathe and suddenly fell onto the ground. I could not move and I was sure that I was going to die. After some time, someone gave me water and I slowly stood up. I was taken inside and given some food. A vet came to look at me and told Skinner that I needed good food and rest, but Skinner said that I was no good if I couldn't walk. He decided to sell me when I was well enough to travel. I was taken to another market for horses outside London. Let's move to the questions. Why was Beauty waiting outside the station? They were waiting for the train. What did the family ask Skinner to do? To take them home and their luggage. Question 3. What did the doctor say when she peed at Beauty? She said that Beauty couldn't carry them all. Why did the girl say that Beauty couldn't carry them all? Because he looked very weak. What did Skinner say to the girl? He told her not to worry and he would be fine. Why was Beauty weak? Because he was given no breakfast. Question 7. What happened to Beauty when he started to climb the hill? He couldn't breathe and fell onto the ground. Question 8. What did Beauty feel when he fell on the ground? He thought he was going to die. Question 9. How did Beauty stood up when someone gave him some water? Question 10. Who came to look at Beauty? A vet who told Skinner that he needed food and rest. What did Skinner say about Beauty? He was no good if he couldn't walk. Question 12. Why did Skinner decide to do? He decided to sell Beauty. Question 13. Where was Beauty taken when he was well? He took him to a market outside London. My dearest students, I have finished my session today. We'll complete the next parts of this chapter in the next lecture or in the next session. Have a good day and take care.